All right, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday portion of this week's work will be creating a document similar to this. Um, it'll take some planning, it'll take a little bit of thought. We're going to show you a few things. One of the things is that just because we used to give this a variety of different ways, you don't have to put things in the exact rows or exact columns. Um, that just because it's shown on this, we give you this screenshot as a way of looking at it um, with this remote learning. But you absolutely can move this over a little bit and make this row smaller or bigger, or this line here could be on line row 6 or row whatever. Just truly, however you feel like setting it up to make it look as close to this as possible is fine. It doesn't have to be, we're not going to look at, is this in L51? Because it's just not something that we're interested in. You will have to adjust rows, and sometimes you can make the row a little smaller just as its little spacer. You will have to adjust column widths accordingly. And again, if you want, you can put these things in here. So what this is an expense report showing the person that is having the sales dates, and with this, there's some descriptions about where they spent this money, either with entertainment, meals, transportation, lodging, etc. This is an old example. You can see mileage 21. It's not that anymore. It's significantly higher than that. But regardless, we're making our own. This is something that you can do, and you can follow and create your own documents. It doesn't have to be only doing max, min, average formulas. That's not what Excel. I use Excel with lists and things like that. Creating your own document, then you can copy and paste this and use it over and over and over again, however you'd want to do it. So just a few things to start off with. In Excel, one of the things, you see how there's no lines in this. One of the things you can do is you can go down, and people go down as far as you want. You can go all the way, if you wanted to go to 80 and go all the way up. Sometimes that's easier. But when we go to borders or more borders, we have this area highlighted. And what we like to do is, like we said before, whatever shows up in here will show up on here. So if we have that showing or whatever, you just click on the white color, which shows white, and then I click outline and inside, and away we go. There's no more lines. And you play around with that a little bit. Pictures, you just get a picture of any computer. I took a screenshot of one and put it on there. Sometimes putting pictures on Excel, you might have to insert a file, but you can put that picture on there. If they have this row underlined thick, you go to thick bottom border. And then you can just, you make these cells bigger. You can change the font sizes, wherever you want to type things in, however you want to do it. You can change this to a little smaller font. You can change the row size a little bit, however you feel it best fits your picture and how you want to set things up. It just kind of depends on what you got going. And then if you want to do a line again, you go, I'm just used to this spot, this area, where we would change the color. So they wanted it orange and they want a little thicker across. Okay, so there it is now. I put the orange across. And again, I'm not going to do this completely. I'm just going to go down and up and around, just to kind of show you how to get this accomplished. But you can go red, thick, and you can go down. And then if that's the bottom, see, since I'm highlighting the cell, that would be the bottom. And then you got thick, and it's on the bottom of that. And that's how you make these little ups and downs. You're picking the sides if you're going to go this looks like it's on the right side of the cell. So if I was going to do on the right side, I make sure it's red, and then I go on the right side. But in order to do all this, you can make it white in the background. Now, if you're having problems with it, it's not the end of the world if you don't put a white on the background. You can use the cells, and if that's something that you feel will help you, you go ahead and do it. But it's kind of nice when you can do that white around like I showed you, and then your lines show up a little neater. But that's okay. And you got these, you're going to have these 3 lines going across. And make sure that your color's back to black. And you don't have to, once you do it once, if you're going to copy that and do that same thing over and over, oops, I didn't do it. So then you might have to just double check that your colors, because it's all white, so you might have to go back just so that you can set up your lines here. And you have to space things out, and you might have to make one column bigger than the other, and you might not want it to go across all the way over there. It just kind of depends how you set it up. This box, you can do a big box that would border around the outside by using the black and the outline there. If you want a little thicker, move the outline. Oops, then you have that done. And then if you wanted the row to go across and be under, or however you want to match that up, and then you can put your information in there. And then in the columns, you're just going to have to set it up, take a look, go back and forth through it as best you can. If something messes up, it's not the end of the world. You just try to fix it and move on as best you can. You just go ahead and do that for all those. Then you get down here. This is a blue little, that's a blue little fill. If they added another row, if they were going to add another box here, black, another outline in that little area there. So they all go through. However you want us, make it thick, not thick. If you want this to be shaded in, then let's shade it in. Blue or purple, and then you keep moving along, and then you can make these lines approved, not. Black outline that's thicker around the blue box says reimbursement. You do the little double line. And you could do all these things, if you're doing these blue or this blue, whatever you want to do. You got the double underline there. Okay, there's that double underline. Then you make that little area and you're good. And it'll, like I said, it'll take some time and some thought, and it doesn't have to look exactly like this. And you don't have to put the white if you don't want to. And you can just work strictly on a sheet like this. If that's okay, that's totally fine. You can do your underlines, and maybe this will be easier for some of you. That's totally okay. If you want a little bit more challenging, you go into color it all up and then add to it. And again, you'll make font sizes smaller. You'll make rows bigger, smaller, columns bigger, smaller. It all just depends on how you wish to set it up. As long as it ends up looking similar to a picture like that, that's great. And if you need to make your screen a little smaller so that you can see all the stuff that you're putting on there, maybe that's an advantage or something that you'd like to be doing. Whatever the case may be. But this is just to show you you can make and create things. This is somebody created an expense report on an Excel sheet, and then people just use it over and over and over by typing in and filling in their itemized reports for the month. Hope that helps. Again, don't get trying to get perfect. We want you to be working with the borders function and the fills, and to be thinking about changing font sizes, row heights, or row heights, column widths, all of this, so that you can create your own document.